Alrighty, we'll try another game with this background format. We'll see if it works out all right. Let's see here. I'm still playing the Ruy Lopez lines just to see how well I understand them. Perfect. We've got a Ruy Lopez. We're going to go with our a6 pawn move. See if my opponent wants to capture. Nope. Then we're going to continue with our knight move. So this is kind of a variation on the standard Berlin or the standard exchange variation, and I feel pretty comfortable with it. In fact, this is almost identical to the line I played in the last game. So I'm gonna make sure I post up both of those games, this one and the other one. This is the exact same thing I did. I induced my opponent to play this pawn, and he goes a little bit differently. So this is probably a better move than what my opponent did last time, pushing that pawn. This develops with tempo. Now the question is, do I keep my bishop there? No, I'm going to go ahead and move my bishop. So this was my plan all along. Was it a good plan? I'm not certain. Now, last game, my opponent played queen to there, and I want to, if they do, I'm going to move my rook. So they went ahead with the pawn move anyway. So let's go ahead and do our pawn move that we were talking about last time. Actually, what if we were to go ahead and do rook first? And the last time I was talking, I mentioned this this rook to e. I said e1, but since I'm the black pieces, it's actually e8. The question is, do I make that move now, or do I do my pawn push? Or do I do my d pawn to get my light square bishop out? You know, I was kicking myself last time that my rook wasn't on this file, on the E file, so I'm going to go ahead and move the rook. All right, so I'm pretty sure that this pawn move is going to come soon for me. Continue to drive my opponent's bishop. I also have this H pawn that I'd like to get pushed up once, just to stop any knight shenanigans. Okay, so this is telling me that my opponent is definitely looking to capitalize on this square here. So these two pawn moves that my opponent has made tells me he is about to push his B pawn and drive my bishop away. So I'm going to go ahead and preemptive strike and move my B pawn. This way he can't have just free reign down that B file. So my opponent was setting up this nice outpost. Okay, so he's got this long diagonal now. Let's go ahead and get our preemptive move on our H pawn. Now, the light square bishop. Where does the light square bishop belong? I have moved my B pawn out of the way, so my light square bishop most likely belongs on the B file. Like, that's why I moved it, right? So I think I'm going to do that again. I think I'm going to put my light square bishop on the B file. I don't know if that's still considered like a fianchetto because my pawns are not like surrounding it. So I don't know if technically that's still a fianchetto. But this is similar to the game I played recently. And I was comfortable with my bishop there. Okay. So last time we brought our bishop all the way back to the A file. Am I still happy with that? I think so. Or do I want to leave it on the B file and give my knight some squares? Just the exact same conversation I had last time about this exact same scenario. Let's try the B file. So bishop on B6. Let's see what that looks like. So that does give our knight a little bit of wiggle room. Now he could continue to drive it away with another pawn move. In that case, I would kind of be content. That's right. I remember I wanted to make this exchange. Excuse me a second. The dog is eating the trash. She has picked up a wonderful habit of sticking her face in the trash can now. Alright, so what did my opponent do? So he pushed his pawn continually down. We don't have this capture here. Yeah, see, I was just saying that the last game I wanted to take here once. So I made the exact same mistake I made last game. I'm okay with this knight going to the E file and eventually going over here to G6. I'm okay with that. Actually, I might even be able to steal a pawn. Yeah, okay, so my opponent made the same, notice the same exact thing. All right, so let's go bishop on light square bishop to the B7. I think we need to move this knight here pretty quickly. Notice my pawn is undefended. All right, so what is my opponent looking to do? He has undefended this pawn. All right, let's do some quick math here. If I steal a pawn, he takes a bishop. I take a bishop, he takes my knight. Yeah, I'm down a material. So pawn, bishop trade, knight. He's up a whole knight in that scenario. So we're not going to mess with that. What if I were to take here? He's got the rook covering it, or he could take with a pawn. If he takes with the pawn, though, that does block his rook in. So let's try this exchange. I don't want to trade my bishops that early, but okay, so he did take with the knight. I mean, the rook, that's fine. We knew this knight was coming here because we needed to get this pawn defended again. So I don't know if that trade favored my opponent or if it favored me. I'm not 100% sure. All right, so here's a question. Can I put a knight on F4? That is looking a little interesting. Notice if my opponent pushes their G pawn to drive my knight away, that undefends their H pawn. So I can capture the H pawn with check. My opponent would have to respond to that. All right, this is looking a little tasty here. I do not know if this is a good move set or not, but I'm looking at. Okay, so he's not driving this away yet. All right, good. So he's got one attacker. I can get another defender up. Let's go ahead and do that. Stop this pawn from driving down. All right, now the next thing I'm looking at is this knight is most likely coming to G3 or H2. If it comes to H2, the most it could really do would be to come here. Either way, it's not really that concerning right now. Is it time to break in the middle? I think it's time to break in the middle. Now, I do have my queen defended, so I'm okay there. If he takes, I take back with the bishop. Let's see if we can just start opening up some lines here. Things have been pretty closed in. So I'm putting my rook on the open file. Just a standard move. I now control this file. This bishop is looking a little weak though, so I want to try to open it up. So possibly something along these lines. Push these pawns up. It would open a file for his rook, but it would get my bishop free. So that might be something to consider. I don't really have any good discoveries yet with my knights. All right, so this knight is looking for one of those two squares. Actually, that's not really protection on this square. I'd have to get my bishop involved. Yeah, all right, so he's going to also get a nice little outpost knight. Unless I preventative weakens my king side, though, a little bit. All right, we're doing it. Notice he can't, any of his knight moves are defended now. All right, this pawn is free. So, okay. Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing there, buddy. Just thinking the exact same thing. Yeah, I wanted to get this. Well, I could push past now. I don't want him to push past, though, here. That would really trap me, though. So we have a very closed position. Ah, good. Excellent. So I've now got a strong outside pawns. I've got them connected. Notice that we are blockaded, so this is a very closed position. Not a lot is happening here. That's okay. Now I've got my light square bishop. Has got a little bit of maneuvering room. He's taking away that maneuvering room. That's okay. That's good on him. A bit of a tactic. If he captures with the... Okay, so he saw that tactic really well. Okay. And then the bishop. So the tactic I was looking at is if he moved the rook, that leaves... No, it doesn't leave it undefended. Never mind, he's got it also defended here. Okay. All right, so this is becoming a closed position. Again, with these, everything's kind of blockaded, so looking to open up lines wherever we can. We don't really have a lot of... we're dead even in material. All right, where are you coming here, knight? Let's just try to put a little pressure on the queen. Excuse me. All right, so now what do we have? We don't have anything there. I don't know. I could encourage a... No, can't. I'm scanning the board, looking for any signs of weakness on either of our sides. All of my stuff is pretty much defended. All of his stuff is pretty much defended as well. That knight is really the only target, and I just have no way of exploiting it. I would like to eliminate this pawn if I could. Can I get a rook lift in? I don't know. So this is at the point now where I am just trying to find something. I'm going to double up rooks here. And then see if I can shove a rook down along one of these back ranks. I don't know. I honestly do not know. At least now I've got this square. Not anymore, I don't. Okay. Damn. Damn. I think we're just going to go for an exchange. All right. I think that's overextended. I'm not happy with it at all. So I'm in scramble mode. I dropped a whole rook in that exchange, so not happy. Notice I can't move this knight because, oh, that's okay. I get material back. Wait. Oh, no. I misread that. I misread that completely. I was thinking that I could get my king over here and then take when he takes. But, of course, I can't because he doesn't have to take. He can just push straight down. All right, so, you know, that's a loss for me. I felt really good right up until that end game stuff. Let's take a look at... let's take a quick look at some of these things. So this is almost identical to the game I've played previously. And I'm going to put this up right after that other one. So I'm going to make sure I upload them in order where you can watch them back to back. Because I know I played this game very recently. And I remembered many of the lessons, but I did forget a couple. Specifically this one right here. So this one right here, instead of moving the bishop, I should take first. And then if my opponent takes back this way, then I can move the bishop. And I bet if I look at the engine, let's see what the engine says. So the way I did it, the engine says, oh, I still have an advantage of -1. Oh, right, and then I can just take, duh. Yeah. Then I can just take. So that feels a little bit better to me than my other move set, even though the engine says it's about the same. So, all right. I still feel like that I should be taking there, but that's okay. The engine says no, so no. Well, let's see. Yeah, the engine says no, so no. All right. So feel pretty good about this. Like I said, this was the part where oh, it wanted me to attack his bishop. Yeah, I was always just considering bringing it around. Okay. Yeah, this was a mistake on my part because notice this pawn is undefended, so my opponent could take, and even if I get out of the way, they've got time to get back. So I should have moved my knight here, and I made a mistake. Now, making this exchange was the correct move. That's good. I feel good about that. So here, yeah, here's where I was debating. Oops, here's where I was debating this move. Let's see what the engine says. The engine says no, should not have been on the list of candidate moves. Alrighty, let's take a look. What are my candidate moves here? Breaking. Okay. Or defending. Alright, so I did none of those. I got to them later, but yeah, so I got to him one move later. I just now have a knight all the way up here, which ended up doing me no good, sadly. I was unable to take advantage of any of it. But, alright. Oh. No, I don't get it. Why would... I'm really confused. Oh, because it comes with pressure on the rook already? I don't know, guys. I am a little confused on that line, why it says I'm ahead in material, because I guess I am up a pawn in that exchange. Yeah, I guess so. So I take a pawn, and then I swap the others. And, oh, because I do have it defended an extra time. Ah, right. He can't take back. He can't take back because of this extra defender. Okay, so I didn't see that. That's interesting. So I didn't see that 1, 2, 3, 4 on that pawn, where he only has 1, 2, 3 defenders. Okay, that is some interesting. Okay, so I could have picked up another pawn there, but yeah, I could. Could I have it continue this attack? No, because doing it the other way loses material. So you have to remove this. You have to remove this defender first. Eliminated the defender, and now there's only 1, 2, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3. Right. Count along with Joe. 1, 2, 3. Not just 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah. all right. Okay. And then where did I really lose this game? Okay, yeah, it doesn't like that move, but yeah, see, this is what I was hoping for. My opponent make this mistake, but that's all right. They didn't make a mistake. And now here's where I really I was really struggling to start to find what to do at this moment in time. So I continue my plan here, and that's it. That's the end of all of my hopes, dreams, and wishes. I have now gotten to the beginning of an end game. So we're transitioning from a middle game to an end game. This is where some of the top experts really shined. I believe it was Capablanca, Jose Raul Capablanca, who was kind of famous for playing a mid game so well that there was no need ever to go to an end game, because his positional advantages he gained in the middle game meant that by the time it came to an end game, it was just basically a resignable position for his opponent. As opposed to someone like our current world champion, Magnus Carlsen, who his end game technique is so tight, so precise, that his middle game can go kind of any which way. But what if he gets to an end game and he is up a pawn, he is winning that game. If he gets to an end game where he's down a pawn, he still might win that game. Whereas many people would get to that point in a game and they would say, you know what, we'll play it to a draw or I'll resign. But Magnus Carlsen's end game is so machine-like, where he can just see all the tiny little incremental advantages and the correct piece placements. If we want to study end games, we should probably study Carlsen. If we want to study mid games, I believe it's Capablanca, but I'm going off of memory here. And my memory, you guys know my memory is absolute shit. But going off memory, I believe it's Capablanca that was the mid game magician. Or maybe it was Mikhail Tal. Tal, Mikhail Tal. He was Mikhail Tal was known for his attacking techniques. Tal the magician. That's what made me think of his name when I said magician. Tal the magician was known for his attacking techniques. He constantly was looking for ways to not just equalize in a position, but attack. But those are history lessons that I'm not good at history. I can't pretend that I'm good at history. So either way, if you guys want to pause at this point in time and try to figure out what your next moves would be, go for it. I have not been looking at the engines or anything. Okay, so yeah, the engine I think is saying double up, but it's saying double up like this, I bet. Yeah. So I tried to double up, but I tried to double up way too aggressive, and I think that hurt me. Let's watch what the engine says to my next move. Oh yeah, I just tucked my king away. This was a nothing move. That's all this was. This was a I don't know what to do, so I'm going to give my opponent back the tempo and let my opponent make the decision, and then I can respond to what my opponent does. Wow, it says I made the best move. No. Yeah, it says I made a. Oh no, okay. It's still looking. Let the engine do its job. It's still looking. Yeah, it says I made a pretty damn good move. Okay. I felt like this was a little too aggressive, maybe, but no, it still says I have an advantage here. Where did I blow this game? I really felt that at this moment in time that I was not in a good position. But I guess that's kind of a theme with me, is I'm always kind of feeling like I don't have a good position. All right, the engine says don't swap that. Keep your bishop. Push some pawns, maybe. Remaneuver this knight. I mean, yeah, because the knight really doesn't have a lot of good squares on this side. But I still was hoping to get here in the center of the board, but he just hasn't defended too much. So I guess since that's never coming, go ahead and start remaneuvering your knight somewhere. Yeah, it even says that was a decent move. All right, engine, where did I blow it? It says sacrifice the exchange. So the game engine says sacrifice this exchange. And it still gives black an advantage somehow. Notice it's two rooks to a rook and a knight. What are the pawn situations like? I'm up one pawn, and I guess maybe they're saying it's a strong passed pawn. I don't know, engine. I don't know. I was not ready to make that exchange. So at this moment in the game, I was not ready to sacrifice this exchange. I thought about it, but I immediately dismissed it. I felt that there had to be something better, and that's how I lost the game. Yeah, wow. Yep. As soon as I went here, look at that. Queen exchange, and then boom, I immediately drop a rook. 100% drop a rook. And that's where it was. Okay. So maybe at this moment in time, I had to recognize that this rook has just got too many attackers on it. There's nothing I can do to save it. So sacking the exchange. Let me let the engine do a little bit of work here, and let's follow the engine along. See what it says. Queen d3, rook d4. No. Yeah, queen d3, rook d4. Still letting the engine continue to find more and more lines. I've stopped it at 23 lines. You can extend this to go as many lines as you want. Basically, the game has said we have searched 23 full lines, and these are the best ones. After that, it just becomes a little bit. I mean, there might be different lines to keep searching for, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing this, guys. It says I still have an incremental advantage. It's got to be this passed pawn here, but I don't know how. I mean, oh right, you can't take because I've got it defended. Interesting, because now I've got this square covered already. Wow. Okay. All right. All right. What in the world is that? All right. All right. All right. Yeah, I don't see these lines very well, guys, so I'm gonna ignore it. But yeah, so according to this, I played really decently right up until this moment, and I still had a chance at this moment. But because this rook is so aggressive and it's under attack so much, there's really no way to save it. So sack the exchange, get a really strong passed pawn. Interesting, interesting. Okay, I doubt I will ever see this type of position again. Maybe I think what I would do is probably not throw my rook all the way up the board so fast. I might even back here. I might just keep it where it is. You know, make another move that maybe just strengthens it. Keep the doubled rooks. Maybe try to look at some way to break in on this side somehow. I don't know. I don't know. I think that's maybe the lesson there is it was way too early to throw this rook down the line, and there's just too much material on the board to play that aggressive with this rook. Maybe that's the lesson to learn. I don't know. Someone smarter than me, take a look at this, figure out what I could have done better. You guys helped me to learn this, but the lessons we learned from the previous time we played this line, we applied and we played a better game. I felt much better about this game than I did the previous one because we learned from it, right? We learned as we went. And in this case right here, I still had this in reserve, and I could have done it at that moment in time, and I would have felt better, I think, if I had taken here. Even better. Notice I had prepared, right, for this move that never came, so maybe that was a little premature, so maybe I can wait on this rook to e8 until my opponent makes their rook or queen move, you know, line up that way. But okay, so more lessons. So this is why we learn lines. So if we're learning opening lines, the main reason we're learning opening lines is because then we can start to, idiots like me who don't have a good memory, like I can see some of these patterns because I have played this exact same game, right? I played this exact same opening once before, previously, like recently, and I was able to remember how I played it, and I was able to make improvements on it. And that's how we're supposed to get better, right? Make just small improvements. Yes, I lost this game, okay? That hurts a little that I lost the game. But it's not the end of the world. Like, it was still a fun game. I still enjoyed it, right? I still had a good time. still playing games and having fun and learning chess and doing cool things. Um, and by going back and reviewing it, yes, I lost, but I feel like I played a better game. I feel like I gave my opponent a lot to think about, and I think that hopefully they had a better game for it too. All right, guys. Well, keep learning from my mistakes, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.